Today, we're going to dig into a hidden chapter of World War II. But really, this isn't just about uncovering some forgotten story. It's about asking a much, much bigger question. Who actually gets to own history?
So let's just start with that question because it's at the very heart of everything we're about to talk about. Is history just what's written down in official records? Or is it something more? The lived experience of the people who are actually there. To get to the bottom of that, we're going to start at the end of World War II, with what has to be one of the most stunning paradoxes of the entire conflict.
Okay, so picture this. The war is over. The world sees these iconic images of celebrating Iwo Jima Marines. They're heroes, instantly famous. At the exact same time, the men whose secret code made that victory even possible, the Navajo Code Talkers, were ordered into the shadows. Their entire contribution was immediately classified, and they were told you can't speak about this ever under penalty of treason. And look, this order for silence, it was not a casual request. You have to remember, this was happening during the intense paranoia of the Cold War. At the same time the Code Talkers were keeping their loyal oath, the Rosenbergs were being executed for giving atomic secrets to the Soviets. So the government's message was deadly serious. Secrets are a matter of life and death.
So, what was the real human cost of keeping this nation's most vital secret? Well, the consequences were absolutely devastating, and they lasted for decades.
Just let that number sink in. For 23 years, from 1945 all the way to 1968, these men were forbidden from speaking a single word about their service. They couldn't tell their wives, their kids, not even their doctors. Total silence.
And in that silence, it just inflicted damage on every single aspect of their lives. I mean, think about the psychological cost. They suffered this profound moral injury because they couldn't perform the traditional DNA cleansing ceremonies. They needed to spiritually leave the war behind. Then you've got the economic cost. They were completely locked out of the GI Bill. They missed out on the home loans and the college educations that built America's entire middle class, all because they couldn't prove what they did. And maybe worst of all was the cultural cost. The most powerful healing tool in their oral tradition, telling your story, was denied to them.
And here is the profound, gut-wrenching injustice of it all. These men held the key to victory in the Pacific, and yet they returned to a nation where, in states like Arizona and New Mexico, they were still denied the fundamental right to vote.
So how did this long, painful silence finally come to an end? You think it would be some grand gesture of gratitude, right? Nope. It was simple obsolescence.
This timeline is just staggering to look at. The secret was only declassified in 1968. Why? Because new technology finally made the code obsolete. It took until 1982 just to get a day of recognition, and then until 2001, 56 years after the war ended, for the Congressional Gold Medal to finally be awarded. For so many of the original creators, it was just too late.
But when the truth did come out, wow, the impact was profound. Declassification wasn't just some government order. It was like a key. It unlocked healing, as men could finally perform their ceremonies. It unlocked family histories. Can you imagine finally telling your wife and grandkids what you actually did? And it unlocked this incredible sense of cultural pride. The very same language that was beaten out of them in government boarding schools was now celebrated as a national treasure that saved countless American lives.
Okay, so this brings us to the real heart of it all. This isn't just a story about the past. It's a huge lesson about power, about history, and about who gets to control the narrative. The Code Talkers' struggle, it really forces us to redefine sovereignty. See, it's not just about land or political power. Real sovereignty is the fundamental right to own your personal story, to control your own history. And for 23 years, the state owned theirs.
And that's the essential tension here, isn't it? The state, the victor, they can write the official history for a while. They can classify it, hide it, control the narrative. But they can never fully erase the truth, because memory lives inside the people who actually experienced it. And their struggle is a powerful, powerful warning for our own time. In our digital world where our personal data is constantly being collected and our lives are tracked, this battle over who owns our story is happening all over again. The government classified their language. Today, our lives can be classified by algorithms and institutions we don't even see. The lesson from their fight is crystal clear. You own your story, you own your data, and we have to be vigilant against any attempt to classify our own existence.
We want to end this explainer not with a question, but with a simple, profound word of gratitude from the DNA language itself. Ahéhee, it means thank you. Thank you to the warriors who carried the heavy, heavy burden of silence,
so that all of us could have the privilege of speaking the truth today.